Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
In Malibu, California, the body of a naked man is found in a barrel on the beach. In Florida, a daredevil sheriff's deputy stops a speeding runaway boat from crashing into beachgoers. And in Miami, an armed escaped prisoner takes shoppers hostage inside of Victoria's Secret store. Right. These stories and more coming at you today, Friday, August 4th, on Real Life Real Crime Daily, and I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino, getting ready for a weekend, fellas.
Friday.
Big weekend plans coming?
I don't know that I have anything planned. I was gonna go fishing, but you know what? I think I might adult. And, you know, my little camp place up in the woods, it's when you stay there and you're a man, you're staying there by yourself, it's like a college apartment, right? At some point, I got to clean it. And I think I'm going to do that. I might shoot a TikTok of the before if I wasn't so ashamed of it, how it looks now, and then the after. It might be good.
Well, I think the fish are probably celebrating that. You know,
yeah. Well, my buddies, they're down there fishing.
Few less casualties.
And they're actually going offshore in the big boat this weekend, but I got shit to do.
Well, speaking of water and fish, I have a correction, retraction.
Oh, can I interrupt you again? Y'all, I know I interrupt you all the time. Just popped in my head. One of the things I'm doing this weekend is my father wants a new truck, and he's in his 80s. And I was going to take him around to dealerships and all that, but guess what? I'm using VROOM, and that's the truth. That's the real honest God truth. He was like, that's just, I don't understand how that works. And I said, don't worry about it. We can sit in front of your computer. We don't have to leave and go anywhere. And otherwise, I'm driving down the road in my big truck, every little bump, he goes, yeah, and he doesn't even realize he's doing it anymore. But yeah, VROOM, thanks for sponsoring us. And yeah, it's
beautiful.
Really,
we'll have
really
to get take some video
give you
there.
7 days or 250 miles, and they deliver it to you.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I've not bought from them. I sold through them. Yeah. When my wife changed jobs in LA and all of a sudden had a much longer commute. Yeah. And because she had to get a hybrid vehicle so she could drive in that HOV lane, would save her like 20 minutes each way. So I had to get rid of a car quick and get her a hybrid, and they were great.
What they do also, but when you're shopping for the cars, because I was looking at the trucks last night, they tell you whether it's a good deal, bad deal, what percentage is selling for against the other ones, and all that good stuff. All right,
and they're highly critical of a car when they inspect it. I mean, my wife's car was, I thought, immaculate, and so I was going for an excellent grade, and they ended up giving us a very good because they were so tough about the wear and tear on the car. So they're very straightforward about the condition of the car. So anyway, the correction retraction is really twofold. One, I incorrectly stated that this week was Shark Week when it was actually last week that was Shark Week, and I was getting cocaine sharks at the very end of Shark Week, not the beginning, like I thought. And then on cocaine sharks specifically, that show was a joke. It's really them trying to make something of nothing, and I think maybe trying to cash in on the cocaine bear thing and turn it into something.
Killed some sharks and took samples of the body to see if they had cocaine in them.
Yeah, I don't know. Since they weren't using real cocaine, I don't know why it even proved. So don't waste your time on that one.
All right.
All right, we're going to go to Arizona, and a 40-year-old man in Arizona was arrested last week after he killed his ex-girlfriend intentionally by crashing a go-kart vehicle into an all-terrain vehicle being driven by the 32-year-old woman. John Stetler was taken into custody on July 28th and charged with one count of second-degree murder per domestic violence in the slaying of Sally Menard. At 1:36 a.m. on Friday, July 28th, police responded to a report regarding a vehicle collision. However, unlike most vehicle collisions, this reported crash occurred in a quad ATV in what police described as only a go-kart type vehicle. Upon arriving on the scene, first responders located Menard, who they said was the driver of the quad ATV. She suffered severe injuries from the crash and was immediately transported across the state's border with Nevada to Las Vegas Hospital for medical treatment. Unfortunately, she succumbed to her injuries shortly after arriving. Detectives and investigators with the accident reconstruction team were dispatched to the scene of the collision, and they began looking into the circumstances of the crash. Investigators said they identified the other party involved in the collision as Stetler. Stetler was operating the go-kart vehicle that collided with Menard, and he was not seriously injured. Additionally, detectives learned that Menard and Stetler had been involved in a romantic relationship prior to the deadly crash. However, investigators have not revealed how they were able to determine that the crash was intentional. At the conclusion of the preliminary investigation, authorities took Stetler into custody without incident and charged him with Menard's murder. He was booked and is currently being held on a $300,000 bond.
Crazy. The
ATV.
That's a very, first of all, I bet you no detective in the world has ever worked a case where a go-kart killed somebody. But how do you prove? Hey, I'm a defense attorney. I'm saying we were playing smash up derby.
Yeah. And those things are easy to lose control of. I can tell you that. I'm not saying he didn't intentionally do it, but there must have been
there's got to be
some sort of evidence
probably
that they have.
Like you say video, right? Or something.
It could be.
Yeah, maybe he threatened her and
they're going to dig in all his emails and or texts or whatever the fuck, right? So very interesting. This one, you know, the people that put on the badge every day and go out there and put their lives at risk and always say it's the greatest show on earth. You never know what you're going to get. This one's kind of crazy, y'all. A Florida deputy sheriff jumped onto a runaway boat going over 40 miles an hour to stop it after its driver fell off. Now, in Louisiana, if you're operating a watercraft, you have to have the kill switch attached to your wrist. Right? Supposed to, yeah. You can get ticketed for that. That's a real deal. But because when people fall off, usually the boat goes in circles and it'll run you over. But so in this incident, which was captured on body cameras footage, showed the two deputies pulling up alongside the speeding vessel. Deputy Constant and Deputy Fernandez, both of the Marine Environmental Lands Unit, had responded to a July 30 call to assist U.S. Coast Guard with the runaway vessel. The boat was being driven by a man who fell into the water before being rescued by a Good Samaritan. Coast Guard tried to deploy prop fouling devices. I didn't know they had those, but I guess it makes sense, to stop the boat, but were unsuccessful. But Deputies Constant and Fernandez were up to the task. The video footage shows Constance catching up to the runaway boat by matching its speed of about 41 miles an hour. And let me tell you something. 41 miles an hour on the water is like going 150 miles an hour on land. My big boat, my Go Fast boat only runs like 52 wide open. But anyway, so it's going about 41 miles an hour, and Fernandez leaping aboard the boat and immediately taking control. And yes, Deputy Fernandez does his own stunts, the sheriff's office quipped in a social media post. The deputies then tied the boat to theirs. If you don't want this to happen to you, always connect your kill switch lanyard. The sheriff's office captioned the clip playing over Van Halen's song Jump. Now, I'm going to tell you something. My honest opinion on this, unless, like you said in the opening, Jim, that it was an immediate risk of crashing in the beach and killing people, although I'm pretty sure the people on the beach could see this boat coming, right? I'm not jumping on that fucker. I'm going to let it run till it runs out of gas. 41 miles an hour? there's got to be a policy procedure. I mean, you got policy procedures against shooting against moving vehicles.
I bet you jump on that damn boat.
I probably would. I'd say, Jim, get a camera shot of this.
Well, you'd have to get on it in the front because you're going to fall backward.
It's not like you're going to jump over and land like a ballerina on that motherfucker.
You got to time it.
So, you got to time it, right?
That's right.
I'd actually like to see this video. So,
yeah, so would I. That would
super interesting. Hey, you know what? Dude's a hero, I guess.
Yeah,
because it could have killed somebody. And I bet that other dude got a ticket.
Ain't no doubt about it.
Well, speaking of stuff that is interesting, this story, and I had a feeling this was going to happen, is getting a massive amount of attention. I'm going to revisit a story we first covered on Wednesday, which is the story of the beauty queen and the football star and the Bahamian boyfriend. So Robert Shiver, who is the former Auburn football player and the dad, has yet to tell his three sons about his mother's arrest, even as Lindsay has just made bail. And so this thing is getting tons of coverage everywhere. I think we're gonna see a Netflix series before long, and here's kind of why. The news loves opportunities like this where you have a beauty queen and a football star. Seemingly they have the perfect life, the big house or houses, the beautiful kids. There's the three cute boys, the golden retriever. I mean, they're just perfect, family picture, and watching it all fall apart over infidelity. And it's even juicier when that infidelity is a mom who cheats rather than the husband, and involves a hot Bahamian lover. And so
nothing sells like sex and murder.
This thing is on fire. And so Lindsay Shiver, 36, was arrested last Friday on suspicion of plotting to kill her husband with her boyfriend, that Terrence Bethel, the Bahamian boyfriend, and the hitman was involved as well and arrested. She alleged, Shiver's alleged plot was uncovered by cops when they came across the WhatsApp messages that were on a phone that was involved in a robbery. What we didn't know the other day is the extent to which the Shivers had already been in a custody battle. So it was said that they were getting divorced, that they were seeing counseling, but apparently they've been in the midst of a pretty nasty custody battle as well as divorce. There are some serious assets involved here. That house in Thomasville, Georgia, is estimated at $2.5 million in value. It's 8,000 square feet. It's a big house.
Not a quarter the size of yours.
Right. And another house in the Bahamas, which those are not cheap. When Robert found out about the affair, he filed for the divorce. So he filed initially, and it wasn't that she found her Bahamian boyfriend after the couple had decided to divorce. The infidelity was the central reason for the divorce. And so Lindsay tried the other day to get emergency bail and get released on Friday. She was denied that, but she was granted on Monday $100,000 bail. She was ordered to wear an ankle monitor, and she cannot leave the Bahamas, while her lover Terrence and the alleged hitman Farron Newbold were given $20,000 bail and a curfew. Shiver came out and shared that he hasn't yet told his three sons, all of whom are under the age of 12. He's going to have to, he said, and said he would do it in the next day or so. So they may have been by this morning brought into things, but the boys did not know the story when we recorded this here. And so this one's going to get pretty interesting, and I don't know how you handle that sit down. What do you say to your three sons when you sit down with them to explain what's going on?
No idea on that one, but pretty sure if I want to be placed on house arrest with an ankle bracelet, I want it to be in my multi-million-dollar home in the Bahamas. At least you have a good view. Hopefully,
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't think she's suffering in the meantime. Another interesting thing is you cannot find anywhere a picture of this Bahamian lover. He's not there. So his socials have been shut down. None of the nobody covering this, none of the tabloids, nobody has a picture of this guy. So if anybody has seen one, please post on the Facebook page so we can get a look at this guy, because have not been able to find him anywhere.
All right, the body of a naked man was found inside a barrel in Malibu, California on Monday, and homicide detectives are investigating the circumstances around the death. The barrel was first spotted over the weekend, but it wasn't opened until Monday morning. Lieutenant Hugo Renaga of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Homicide Department said at a news conference that a maintenance worker from a state park saw the black 55-gallon plastic drum floating in the Malibu Lagoon Sunday afternoon and brought it in with a kayak. Apparently, it was too heavy and they didn't want to open it, so they just left it on the shore, Renega said. Shortly after 10 a.m. Monday, a lifeguard at Malibu Lagoon State Beach noticed the same barrel in the back of the lagoon, swam out and brought it ashore, opened it, and saw the body inside.
Yeah, I bet they smelled it before they saw it.
Yeah, it wasn't clear where the barrel originated. At about 8 p.m., there's a high tide here, and there's a possibility that the container could have come in from the ocean and then got stuck in the lagoon, but we don't know that from Renega. There was no immediate word on the age of the man or how long the body had been in the drum. However, from what I did see, it didn't look to me like it was decomposed or it had been there for long. He followed up with in that news conference. So that barrel could have floated from
came from
Europe.
That's right. It could have came from Mike. How come you're the European reporter? How come you don't know about this?
How come I don't know about this story? I know about this story.
Oh, well.
What I was curious about is, aren't those things supposed to sink?
Okay, so that's you could put cement shoes on somebody and drop them in the water. When that body swells, it'll rip the feet off. So inside the barrel, the gases are going to come as the body decomposes. I don't care how heavy it is. It's obviously if it had 1,000 pounds and it was sealed, it wouldn't. But the gases are going to make it blow up. Make it like a cork.
And they're buoyant. They're shaped in such a way. It's kind of like a buoy in the ocean.
Right. But then, and they got the gases on it. It's like filling up a balloon with helium, and it's going to the top.
So is that more of an amateur committing the crime? Because a pro would know to do something that would keep it submerged?
Why can't they be like all our other crime stories and cut them up in a bunch of pieces? That's what I would have done. And throw them out. I drove through the ocean. I drove for a day. Threw out a piece here, threw out a piece there. If we were in South Louisiana, we'd just take them to Murder Bayou.
They don't get much crime over there in Malibu. Maybe a little bit of drug stuff every now and then, but not a lot of that kind of thing.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. There you go. Let me take you to the next one. Oh, God, y'all. All right. This is a tough one. When given the opportunity, Landon Malibu would belt out his favorite country songs. He loved to play with monster trucks and had an affinity for pickles. The 5-year-old was allegedly beaten to death earlier this year by his adoptive parents in what one of Landon's doctors later told police was diagnostic of torture. Investigators say the boy's brain was obliterated and shifted within his skull by repeated beatings. The beatings caused substantial pain at the time they were inflicted and were so severe toward the end of his life, Landon could not eat, drink, or stand. Both adoptive parents, Lauren and Jacob Malibu, are charged with criminal homicide, endangering the welfare of children, 2 counts of assault of a child, and criminal conspiracy, according to the Westmoreland County Police. Lauren Malibu is additionally charged with first-degree murder. The couple have been under investigation for severe child abuse since January and were arrested on Thursday. In the 25 years I've been working for the Delmont Police Department, we have never faced an incident like this, Delmont Police Chief T.J. Klobuchar said in a statement. The Malibus are being held in the Westmoreland County Prison without bail. In a law enforcement interview with one of Landon's siblings, the sibling said Landon was routinely spanked by his parents with an open hand or wooden spoon because Landon does not learn his lesson, the brother told police, adding that their mother allegedly gets more angry as she beats Landon. Sometimes the parents use a spray bottle to spray liquid on the child, the sibling alleged to authorities. The couple often
repeatedly expressed their disdain towards Landon in text messages about the 5-year-old. Lauren Malibu said she was going to kill him. In conversations with former coworkers, she used the word hate to describe her feelings toward the 5-year-old. Even though Landon was exhibiting signs of illness in late January, losing consciousness and throwing up, Lauren allegedly waited an entire day before taking him to the hospital. Before heading to the hospital January 30th, Landon's parents washed off the vomit from his unconscious body, according to the complaints. In front of hospital staff that day, Lauren worried aloud that she would be blamed for her son's injuries and blamed his condition on repeated falling due to COVID. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. Investigators observed the numerous bruises covering Landon's body, including one in the shape of fingers grabbing Landon by the armpit. They also noted significant severe bruising all over his body and a cut by his left eye. The next day, Brandon had no brain activity. Landon succumbed to his injuries in the hospital on February 7th, about a week after his mother brought him there. Autopsy and medical examiner reports note that Landon died by homicide caused by blunt force trauma to the head, torsos, and extremities. And it makes me want to throw up. 5 years old.
Yeah, and it's not foster. These are adopted parents who have other kids they've adopted.
That's right. I mean, so maybe they're doing it for the check. I don't know. I'm at lost words for that one. It's real life, real crime. I don't know how the story like this isn't number one in the world because it's that horrible. And people say, "Oh, I'm a true crime fan." Until they hear shit like that, then they're repulsed, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Murder by you.
You wonder how the system works where they're.
Where did I say it was?
Westmoreland County.
The fucking death penalty.
Westmoreland County.
It didn't say.
Didn't say state.
No,
Westmoreland County is.
That's crazy.
But how does a woman like that get awarded a child and adopt? I mean, But again, if there are other kids that seemingly have normal lives there, I mean, that's just so screwed up.
It's crazy.
What's our favorite county in Florida?
It's in California, by the way.
Well, there you go. So at least I know they have the death penalty.
Yeah.
What's our favorite county in Florida?
The one with the golf carts that they redeemed themselves when they had a SWAT team. Some dude on the roof, and then a naked chick drove through on a golf cart. But they had a SWAT team.
Pinellas County.
Pinellas
County. We've given Pinellas County a hard time, and we've probably been unfair to them. But you might even say we've depicted their law enforcement as being soft.
No, I corrected it on that when they did that. The SWAT team and shot the dude with beanbag gun and all that.
Can't remember that one. I remember that we covered the souped up golf cart races in the retirement village, and we also had the guy whose pool guy showed up after dark and shot at him through the screen door. But hoping that this story today clears up any confusion and paints Pinellas County officers in the proper light. Okay.
Right.
In Pinellas County, in the city of St. Petersburg, 2 St. Pete mounted police officers are alleging that a man named Alicia Lalani, age 27, walked up to them and slapped each of their horses on the ass while they were on duty.
Wrong answer. I saw that. Dan Moe, attorney brother, punched that horse on Bourbon Street, and he didn't get out for like a week.
The officers reacted quickly and were able to detain the man. A bystander who did not wish to be identified commented, quote, "In a situation like that, there's no time to think. Instincts take over. Those officers reacted with speed and urgency to quickly subdue the punk."
That means they beat his ass.
According to the arrest report, the horses were wearing police insignia and flashing blue lights when Lalani assaulted them. Police said Lalani told them he didn't know he was not allowed to hit horses. Lalani was arrested and now faces a possible lengthy sentence for battery of a police horse.
Oh my God.
After finding this story, which I swear to you is true, I really needed to get a better handle on the actual situation with crime in Pinellas. In other words, is it just as Real Life, Real Crime Daily and the stories we're finding? Is it just us, or is there a much different crime profile for Pinellas than other counties? So I wanted to take a quick look at the state of Florida and violent crime by county. And so this is the most recent data, which is from 2022. Florida as a whole had 80,000 violent crimes, and they've got a population of 22 million across the state. So a crime rate of 367 per 100,000. So 367 violent crimes per 100,000. So of the large counties in the state, the worst violent crime rates were in Alachua County, which is Gainesville, Duval County, which is Jacksonville, and Leon County, which is Tallahassee. Each of those have violent crime rates over 600 per 100,000. The lowest crime rates were in St. John's, which is where St. Augustine is, and Hillsborough, which is Tampa. Each of those have violent crime rates that are in the 200 per 100,000 range. And Pinellas ranks actually right in the middle of the state's average. It's got a population of almost 1,990,000. They've had 3,627 violent crimes, and so 366 violent crimes per 100,000. So we can officially declare Pinellas County's finest not too soft and not too hard. They're getting about the average amount of violent crime. We just seem to end up with these stories where it's golf carts or it's a guy shooting at a pool guy or somebody slapping a horse.
This is the only one besides the pool guy that didn't involve a golf cart, but I'm remembering now, but it was actually a kinky crime section when they had the guy on the roof, and I think he shot at somebody or whatever, and he wouldn't come off his hostage situation. This girl, unrelated, was butt naked on her golf cart. She drove through the perimeter and got arrested. So, but they shot that old boy with the beanbag shotgun and took him to custody. But it surprised me that they had a SWAT team or a SRT team. But
it's almost 1 million population there. So
yeah, that's a pretty fair size.
St. Petersburg.
Yep.
All right, a man in Missouri was charged after attacking people with a machete, a pickaxe, and a pitchfork.
And damn, how many weapons can you carry at one time?
Well, this was actually two separate occasions.
I was going to say, shit.
This man was
three arms. Yeah.
That's right. The man was arrested after being accused of littering of all things. In addition to all that, they're going to throw a littering ticket on him. I thought that was hilarious when I read it. Littering and attacking people with various hand tools, including a hand axe and a pitchfork. He's actually charged with 3 felony counts of unlawful use of a weapon, a felony count of armed criminal action, a misdemeanor of 4th-degree assault. I don't know what 4th-degree assault would pertain to. It's really like
the ER battery is their assault, so something.
Easy
type of hidden, yeah.
And don't forget that misdemeanor count of littering.
And they should.
That's crazy with those felony counts that they even put that on there. But the Springfield Police Department officers were called twice on Monday. The first call was for an incident, and it occurred around 7 o'clock to 7:30 that evening. Officers responded to a scene where someone said Campbell struck them with a shovel. Campbell was throwing things into the street, and the victim walked over to break it up and clean the trash out of the street. 2 people stopped to check on them, but Campbell allegedly threatened them and started throwing items at them. When the victim tried to walk away, and he just started throwing more items, he struck the victim with a shovel. They began to wrestle, and Campbell punched him in the head, the victim. Another person said she witnessed Campbell throw a box of trail mix into the road. That must be where the littering comes into play. Retrieve a pickaxe and unsuccessfully swing it at the victim. He then appeared to prepare to throw the pickaxe. Another witness said that they saw Campbell throwing the items and that at one point he had a machete, a pitchfork, and a shovel. Now, the second incident, it occurs around 9:26.
I'm probably cutting in and getting ahead. So evidently he wasn't there when the cops responded
Correct.
the first time.
Yeah, he had already
my
got
number
it
one
out.
rule was I'm not coming back a second time.
Right.
So, he must have been hiding in the bushes or something.
Well, he came back about 9:30 that evening, and a victim said he was helping his friend grab a few things for the night so that the friend could stay with him after the fight with Campbell earlier that day.
He's trying to commit murder.
Yeah, while the victim and the witness waited outside, Campbell began to yell slurs at them and left his porch waving a metal item in a threatening manner. The victim attempted to restrain Campbell, and of course, a fight broke out. Police arrived. They convinced Campbell to leave his home through the PA system. Campbell was bleeding from the head, an injury he said he got after falling from the porch stairs. An officer found a black and red metal bar in the yard with the victim, and witnesses identified the object as one of the objects Campbell threatened them with. He was arrested without further incident. We'll post a picture of Campbell
I gotta get it.
on Facebook. He's an interesting cat, to say the least. So we're definitely going to post this guy's picture.
He's giving Alien
But the
a run for his money.
the pitchfork makes a lot lot of sense in Campbell's case. Let's just say that. So y'all make sure you check out Facebook.
Tell me this again real quick, because I'm shooting a TikTok for the listeners. This guy's name was Campbell, and he was arrested for...
He was arrested for assault with a pitchfork,
Pickaxe,
a machete,
and a pickaxe, and
a hand axe, too.
and littering.
and Chex Mix.
and throwing trail mix.
Y'all, you got to just...
No, the only thing he's missing, maybe it would have been his neck surgery, is the antenna that the alien guy had.
Yeah, or
Remember that?
and the teeth. You know, the guy had this thing screwed into the skull.
Nice of him to do the bow tie. The bow tie is a classy thing.
Yeah,
with,
that's classy.
with all the other stuff. He's got
freaky. And on the littering charge, one time I had I was trying to stop a guy in way up in the country in the middle of the night, and he did a slow speed pursuit, and he kept throwing shit out of the window, and I could smell the ammonia, so it was a rolling meth lab. And finally, every time he threw something out of the window, I'd call my mile marker because I wasn't calling in the pursuit anyway. And I charged him with like 137 counts of littering on top of the meth lab. And we had to use the K9 to get him out of the truck after we deployed spike strips. But this dude, he might be a dumb criminal.
He looks like a lot of trouble.
Good story. All right, so take you to a place that guy's probably never been. A man who escaped from a New Hampshire prison. Oh, here we go. It should be you. It's got an escape story. Made his way all the way down to, not the Waffle House, but to Miami Beach, and took hostages at knife point in a Victoria's Secret store before he was shot and killed by a police officer. Darren Young, 29, made a break from his transitional housing unit in the minimum security New Hampshire Department of Corrections in the early morning hours of July 21. 6 days later, at around 5:30 p.m. On Thursday, police were called to the lingerie chain's Miami Beach location, nearly 1,500 miles away, for a disturbance. Officers arrived, and video showed them going door to door to evacuate various stores in the area. Eventually, they came upon a man, now confirmed to be Young, threatening two people in the store with a knife when an officer opened fire and shot him. Young was pronounced dead at the hospital. Again, he was probably dead at the scene. They always do that. But he was initially jailed on charges of receiving stolen property, burglary, falsifying evidence, and controlled drug acts. Young was eligible for parole as early as July 31, 10 days after he made a break for it, and 3 days after he was fatally shot. The latest Young would have been released from prison for his convictions was January 31, 2028. That's crazy, right?
So he had a parole hearing coming up in literally...
You would believe... You wouldn't believe it, but I've had cases like that where that one guy sticks in my mind. This dude was getting out in like 6 days, and he escaped. And I think maybe he was institutionalized. You know, he ended up hanging himself in a cell. By the way,
And this guy gets all the way from New Hampshire down to Miami and decides he has to go into a Victoria's Secret
and brandish a knife. So hell or jail. Bye-bye.
Yep. Well, he's bye-bye. Definitely. No jail. He's toast, right?
Well, he might be, definitely no jail. Body bag.
Let's go to Midtown Manhattan.
All right.
My old stomping grounds. This is it's a crazy story because it's something you never see there. I never saw it in all of my time there. 10 people were injured after being hit by a car in Midtown Manhattan. This happened on Tuesday at the intersection of Lexington Avenue and 42nd Street around 5:30 in the afternoon. If you know New York City, you know that the intersection of Lex and 42nd Street is one of the main entrances to Grand Central Station.
Right.
And at 5:30 in the afternoon at Grand Central Station, it is a mob scene of people running for their train. So this is about as busy an intersection in New York at that time of day as you can imagine. So supposedly, police were attempting to perform a traffic stop while with a male driver when he reportedly tried to escape and flee the scene. I'll address the supposedly part as we go through this. So, although some of the individuals involved in the car crash were hurt and transported to Bellevue Hospital, authorities later said that none of the injuries were life-threatening. During a press conference held hours after the report, the NYPD shared details regarding the chaotic traffic stop. According to a deputy chief, the pursuit began when officers responded to a sighting of a vehicle that had been reported stolen in the Bronx on July 31st.
I wonder if they use those cameras.
They were able to confirm the match by using license plate readers.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Police turned on their lights, but due to traffic in the area, they moved in at a slow speed to close in on the suspect. I mean, they would have no other choice but to move in at a slow speed. Initially, the driver began to pull over, but then fled. A biker in a yellow cab were struck by this. It's a 2018 Hyundai Tucson that he had stolen with Illinois plates on it. So a biker and a yellow cab collide with this Hyundai Tucson. A spokesperson for the department confirmed that the most severe injury happened to a young lady who sustained an ankle fracture from that collision. Some of the injured victims were children as young as 5 and 7. 2 people were in the car when it collided with the taxi and came to a stop. This is just a block down the street, so closer to 3rd Avenue than Lexington. And here's where New Yorkers do what New Yorkers do. Several citizens grabbed the driver because the cop was nowhere near them when this collision occurs. So the citizens go in and they grab the driver and they hold the driver until officers are able to get down to them and get the situation under control.
I'm wondering if they got any licks in.
Looked at some video, didn't see more just tackle and hold, but the department later revealed that the driver was a 20-year-old male. So, like I said, I've been at this exact spot hundreds of times around the same time of day, and even in like post-COVID now, where a lot of people are working virtually, it's still wall-to-wall people on these sidewalks. I mean, you're 6 or 8 deep on the sidewalk. So, I mean, this could have been a huge tragedy there. And I'm shocked that in New York City, where you have these policies now where they're more or less letting people rob retail establishments, and the police are taking a pretty laissez-faire approach to enforcement, that they would make such an aggressive move in that kind of location at that time of day. It just seems really weird, and luckily nobody died, but you got 10 people injured. I think the police department's going to see a bunch of lawsuits coming from that, because I don't know why they couldn't have waited and just kept tracking this vehicle and taken it down in a different location at a different time.
See lawsuits, but that's their job. I mean, how do you know that they're not going to kill somebody if you're just following them or whatever? But so, I mean, they're going to do what they're trained to do.
Well, but that's like one of those, where you stop pursuing in a car chase because of fear of the public getting hurt. I mean, this is people like sardines on the sidewalks, and they're getting involved in I don't know. You don't see that in New York City.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you wear the badge nowadays, it seems like.
Hey, y'all. Changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later. Hey, ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
Crimes. For Friday, flight attendants changed a man's seat on a Delta Airlines flight upon learning he groped a 15-year-old traveler sitting next to him. Jack Allen Robinson, 69, of Andrews, North Carolina, was arrested after the plane arrived at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport from Atlanta. Robertson is accused of placing his hand on the teenager's thigh, then moving the hand under her skirt. Now he's facing a charge of abusive sexual contact on an aircraft. When the 15-year-old boarded the flight to Seattle with her aunt, they found Robertson sitting in the wrong seat, an aisle seat. After Robinson moved to his correct seat, a window seat, the 15-year-old sat next to him in the middle. Shortly after the plane took off, the 15-year-old picked up Robinson's headphones after he dropped them. In response, he said, "Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you." Sometime afterward, the teenager felt him touch her thigh, which she thought was accidental because he appeared to be asleep. Then he slowly moved his hands up her thigh and under her skirt.
Act like he's sleeping.
The teenager then alerted her aunt, who switched seats with her before notifying the flight crew about the touching, resulting in him getting a new seat. In an interview with federal investigators after the flight landed, of course, they reported that as soon as it hit the ground, Robinson said he had 8 alcoholic beverages prior to boarding the flight to Seattle and drank 2 double vodka tonics on the flight.
Yeah.
He told investigators he patted the 15-year-old's thigh while thanking her for retrieving his headphones before he reportedly fell asleep. Now, they didn't buy that story, of course.
Yeah.
And he was charged, and if convicted of that charge of abusive sexual contact on an aircraft, which obviously the fact they had that charge means it happens more often than people may think, Robinson could be sentenced up to 2 years in prison and fined $250,000. And Delta, in a statement, said they had zero tolerance for criminal activity of any type on their flights and at airports. As such, we work with requisite authorities when passengers engage in such activity to ensure they are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So
That's crazy. I just
groping on airplanes, man.
I just had what I think is a genius idea. We can start our own company because you already said we're on video all day, every day. What we need to sell video equipment to the airlines to just video the flights inside the cabin.
How hard would that be?
All this shit goes down. There wouldn't be allegedly on video.
That's right. There's no alleged then.
So
good idea, Woody.
We'll call it RLRC Daily Bust Your Ass Cameras.
So the guy had no
the eye
idea
in the sky.
The guy had no idea the whole flight that he had been busted.
Because they made him move seats. And the aunt moved over, and then they made him move seats. But his defense was that a whole thing. I touched her, but I was asleep. I'm just rubbing.
That's pretty sharp and brave by the 15-year-old to do that, and then him not be the wiser for it. So
well, there's your mile high.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I know what that sound is. Woody?
Yes, indeed. It is Kinky Crimes for Friday.
No bugs in shoes.
No. That was a good story, though. This one, y'all, is like so outside the box compared to our normal Kinky Crimes. But listen to it. It's kind of bizarre. A Utah woman, I don't normally read that headlines, but I'm going to read this one. Utah woman charged with lewdness after being topless in her own home. So a Utah woman has been charged with lewdness in her own home after her stepchildren walked into the room and saw her bare chest. Attorneys for the American Civil Liberties Union of Utah argue this week that the statute under which Tilly Buchanan, 27, was charged as unconstitutional, and they have asked the judge to drop the charges against her and change the state law. Well, a judge can't change state law, but Buchanan and her husband had been installing drywall in the garage and had taken off their shirts that were itchy from the fibers. You ever fuck drywall?
Yes.
Oh, my God, that's the worst shit.
Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah, I do too. When her stepchildren aged 9, 10, and 13, so 3 of them, y'all, walked in, she explained she considers herself a feminist and wants to make a point that everybody should be fine with walking around their house or elsewhere with skin showing.
Hey, I agree with that. I got no problem with that.
I get it.
I'm with you.
But the state didn't.
Be free.
Right? The state had charged Buchanan with 3 charges of lewdness and violence a child. They're Class A misdemeanors, y'all. But Though her husband was similarly clad, he was not charged with a crime. His titties were showing.
His titties were showing. Yeah, nobody complained about that.
The state's lewdness statute criminalized exposure of the female breast below the top of the areola in the presence of a child in a private place under circumstances the person should know will likely cause affront or harm. And if convicted, she's got to register as a sex offender.
That's crazy.
And for 10 years.
Crazy.
So let me tell you something.
But that's Utah now.
Right. Well, but if I'm in my wife, if I'm in the garage in my home with my significant other and we're topless and we're working on drywall and the kids walk in, how the fuck's that get a report to begin with?
Right.
Secondly, I would have put Vaseline on, Vaseline
On the titties?
No. You still have to use Vaseline to have sex.
Well, but here's the interesting thing. Wait, before you go on.
Yeah.
This is why I said that. Because if you're doing drywall or you're painting or anything like that and you put Vaseline on your face, you can wipe it straight off. It doesn't stick to your skin.
Really?
Yep.
I was talking about using Vaseline to have sex. And
well, you can use it for that too.
Not because Aga's brain's always thinking dirty, because for the act of penetration, it's put it on the doorknob to keep the kids from coming in. Interrupted. But
honestly, they had a totally legit reason for that.
Couple of things here. Okay, so first of all, her stepkids, so they're his kids. So what kind of control, Dad, do you have of your kids if your kids are allowed to file a claim against your
at 9
wife?
And 10 and 13, they should have been doing the drywall.
That's one.
Yeah.
Two, this is a place that allows you to have multiple wives.
Yeah. Well,
but you can't have
really, but I know they do it. I know they do it. No doubt about it. Yeah.
Three, I bet there's an angry ex-wife involved.
Yeah.
There's an angry ex-wife who's taking the
13-year-old probably wouldn't say, "Hey, Mom, I saw a nipple.
That slut.
I saw my first nipple.
That slut your father married did that to you."
I bet you every man in this room can remember the first time he saw a nipple. I'm telling the truth.
Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates.
Whoever it was, I bet you can remember it. So.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Right. Well, on the swimming, on the diving board, right? But that wasn't my first one. But anyway.
That's nuts, though. Really follows a sex offender over that. Because these kids accidentally walked in.
Stupid.
And you're inside your own garage with your husband. Right, working.
It's crazy. What happened in that scenario is one of them kids went and told like an ex-wife or a church member or something.
Yeah.
My mom didn't have no shirt on in the house, and then she became a Karen and she reported.
Or I didn't know women had hair on their nipples.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Who knows? Well, that was a good one. What do you
only one way to follow that up with some banjo.
Definitely. Kinky crimes. All the time.
It's a good one, Woody.
Different, right? Now, banjo time.
Still trying to get over that one, Woody.
That's crazy.
This one goes back a little bit, but I stumbled upon it, and we've never done it. So hopefully you've never heard this. But the Granite Shoals Police Department in Texas issued a very important warning to citizens on its Facebook page. The post warned citizens about potential Ebola contamination in heroin and meth that had been distributed in Central Texas. It told citizens, if you have recently purchased meth or heroin, please bring it to your local police or sheriff's department it can be screened with a special device. Do not use your drugs until they have been thoroughly screened for possible Ebola contamination.
That's funny.
Chastity Hobson
And some dumbass
is a concerned citizen, and so she did her duty by bringing her recently purchased heroin in for an examination. Hobson never found out about any Ebola contamination, as she was promptly arrested and held on $5,000 bond because
funny.
she's a dummy.
Hey, wait, real quick before you hit it, you ever see like in New York City or Los Angeles or Vegas, they have these criminals that the cops could never catch. They have warrants for them. May not necessarily murder, just bullshit. So they send them. They make this fake company where you've won this award, come to the banquet and collect your shit, and all these assholes show up to collect their free cruise or whatever it is, and they're waiting to arrest them. And it's
got some unclaimed property.
They're showing up this big banquet hall for their dinner and whatever.
Well, Chastity was just trying to make sure she didn't inject herself with the Ebola virus.
Good one on for the whatever Shoals Police Department.
All right. That makes me segue to WTF.
What the fuck?
Yep, WTF. Police arrested a 26-year-old man from California this week for allegedly breaking into condominiums in Nevada and fondling women's feet while they were sleeping.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
Got another one. Between July 1st and 3rd in the early morning hours, this man entered 2 resort condominiums in Nevada through unlocked screen doors, positioned himself at the foot of the bed, and rubbed 2 women's feet. Both women woke up to the stranger in the bed, confronted the man, and he fled the scene. The sheriff's office and investigators uses what they called forensic techniques to identify Mark Gonzalez as the suspect. So they arrest Gonzalez at his home on 2 counts of burglary and 2 counts of battery. Now, the investigators discovered Gonzalez had committed a series of crimes in California, including the theft of women's shoes, trespassing, and sexual self-gratification during some of these instances.
He left his juice on the shoes.
Yeah. His love juice. The sheriff's office noted that Gonzalez's crimes were escalating in nature. And that's what makes me say WTF is up with these foot fetishes lately. And Woody, had he not been caught, you think that would have escalated into some sort of rape at some point?
They do it until it's all about masturbation, and they do it until that fantasy and the masturbation doesn't satisfy the fantasy anymore, so they escalate, and that's a fact. It's proven time and time again.
Yeah, and so had he continued to get away with that,
he would have moved on to feed in or I don't know how you say it, feet in the shoes and nutted on them, and he got arrested for that or whatever. But just absolutely dumb.
Yeah, waking up to a man rubbing your feet. Yes. WTF.
And rubbing it with his
pecker.
His pecker.
There you go.
Hey, y'all want to talk about something real quick? It's important. I want all you lifers to listen to me. And I get messages every single day about the original Real Life Real Crime, which started all this, right? And they're like, well, I got one last night. Lady said, you don't do Real Life Real Crime anymore. Why don't you do your own show where you tell your own stories? And I get them every day. And I'm like, I do. And you must not be listening, or you must not be subscribed, because you would get the alert. So I want all lifers to know, on every Tuesday, I'm dropping an original Real Life Real Crime story that started
every
all
Tuesday.
This. Every Tuesday, it goes out like clockwork. Real Life Real Crime Daily is on Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. Bloody Angolas is on Thursday also, but the original Real Life Real Crime is on Tuesday. Now, real quick about this episode that I'm doing now, it's called Death Penalty, and it's Death Penalty Phase 1, 2, and 3 have been released thus far. Y'all, I'm doing something different, and I'm reading directly from the courtroom transcripts, and it's in the death penalty phase. Now, this guy has already been convicted for breaking in with this lady to this World War II vet's home. The guy couldn't even hear. Huge patriot, a great-grandfather, grandfather, father, and they were going to just rob him, and they choked him. The guy choked him to death. He said, I wrung his neck like a chicken, right? And then they took his body out and they cut him up and dismembered him and threw him a bunch of different places. So I start this case out where he's already been found guilty for the murder of Mr. Martin, right? Mm-hmm. But the problem is, after they arrested him, he confessed to another murder many years before of this single mom, and he confessed that he also, after he wrung her neck like a chicken, and he made love to her in all these different ways after she was dead, and then he cut her up and all this stuff. But I'm doing it off the transcript, so because there's a lot of conjectures. It's been on Polizon, it's been in Cosmopolitan magazine, everything the story has. I have the entire case file, and I said to take off any outside things, what people are thinking. I want you to hear exactly what's said, everything from the objections to how I'm building up to this confession. Now, in the Martin's murder trial, they weren't allowed to use his confession about this other murder because they could never find the body or pieces of the body because it had been so many years later. But y'all go check it out, listen to it. It's different, but I'm telling you, I'm warning you right now, the episode that drops this week gets into his confession and all the things that he said he did, et cetera. And when I get done with it, I'm going to have the family, and we're going to do a call to action, and it's a long shot, but hopefully we can help bring Christy home, or at least a piece of her so they can bear it. And that's it. Off my high horse. I just want to say that original Real Life Real Crime is on Tuesdays.
And they drop right at midnight, folks.
Right.
So
all you got just subscribe.
Subscribe, or if
daily, you'll get an alert, right?
Or just put it in your calendar and.
But I appreciate y'all loving it.
And find it.
But still loving the original so much that you're asking about it after 6 years, right?
Amen.
So, anyway, I love all y'all.
Look, rrescue.org
Yes,
if you want to
yes.
help put an end to human trafficking. It's a good place to start. You can get all the information you need. They have events that they list on there, and also ways in which if you'd like to help, even if it's just spreading awareness.
Right.
So
Very worthy.
Shout out to rrescue.org. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
I'm Woody Overton.
I'm Mike Agovino.
For your host of Real Life Real Crime Daily, peace.
Jessica Tinsley Anderson.
Love Jessica.
Actually,